Hey headphone people, MrAyrit here, and pretty happy to do this review today, and this is for a new budget IEM. This is my new favorite budget IEM. So as you know, I mean, I've been getting a little more into IEMs lately, testing out some things. I did my big, March IEM madness. I just reviewed also a couple of $500 IEMs. So just getting some more experience with them under my belt here. Now, I haven't, up until this IEM, I hadn't really found one that I loved for not a lot of money, especially around like the $20 price point. I had several different ones that I tried and just none of them really did it for me. But that has changed. So the IEM that we're going to talk about today is called the Tripowin Lea. I don't know. But this is an interesting one because Linsoul sent these to me, right? I do have an affiliate account with them, so links below to this will be affiliate links. But they didn't really say anything else about it. They're just like, this is a new IEM that we're trying to get the word out about. And I was kind of like, honestly, I turned them down. And I was like, I don't really want to do cheap IEMs. There's so many out there. And then they were like, well, we'll send you this other set too, but we really want to send you these as well. And I was just like, all right, fine. So I was not expecting much with these. And boy, was I pleasantly surprised. So let's take a look at the Tripowin Lea, is what I'm going to call them. And let's see what you get, and then we'll talk about the sound. Okay, so first off, right, let's just look at packaging real quick. It came in, it's a pretty generic little box. It had, it just came like this with a piece of plastic over it, okay? Nothing real fancy about that. You do get several different tips, small, the mediums come on it, and large. And I have just been using the stock tips, and they're fine. I mean, I do have tips from Final, and I have some spin fits and some other stuff, but I didn't see any need to change these. They fit my ears well. And it sounds good, so no issues there. The cable is probably the weakest part of this IEM, as you would expect for $20. So it's kind of an interesting cable because it's a 2-pin, and it comes just like a straight cable, but then it comes with these little rubber like ear hook things that you can kind of finagle onto the cord to get them to wrap around your ears. To be honest, I did not like this system at all. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you just have it like this, because you kind of got the cord just like really pulling down on your ear and stuff. But then even with these little, even with the little rubber things when they're on your ears, it's not a great system. It's not very elegant. I wish they would have just had a regular kind of molded flexible cable for your ears. So I didn't use the cable much myself. I did not like that. I have a really nice Shure cable that came with the Tape Pros, and that's mainly what I listen to these with. So I know on Linsoul I went and checked, and you can buy just the IEMs for around like $25-26, but then you can spend about like 43, I think, and get what looks to be a pretty nice Zonie cable, I think is what it's called, from Tripowin, and you can choose to get balanced and things like that. So I think if it were me buying it and you don't already have a nice 2-pin IEM cable, I would probably go that route, just so you have something decent that's more enjoyable to use personally. Okay, so let's look at the IEMs here. They're quite small. They're really pretty teeny, and let me get just kind of like, here's ZST. Here's the ZSTs next to them, so you can see how much smaller the Tripowin Lea is. And you can also these are metal, so it's a $25 or so IEM, and it's a metal housing. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's just black and says Tripowin on it, but you know what? Who cares? Because it's all about the sound. So anyway, I think the build and comfort of this is very good. And when they're in your ears, they're quite small. If I can get this, so like if I got this guy in my ear, like look how teeny tiny that is. Super low profile. I like to use IEMs in bed sometimes, but if they stick out too far, then that can be a problem, you know, with a pillow like pushing in on it. So these guys are low enough profile that they're pretty small. I don't know that I'd like lay down on them, but like if you're just sinking back into a pillow, I had no issue with that. So nice, small, compact, metal build quality. I haven't had any issues with the build quality. I think it's great for the money. And the sound, I think, is also great for the money. You know, I didn't expect a whole lot out of it, but when I started listening to it, I put them on and I just thought, whoa, like the spatial information and the separation on these is really impressive for the money, as well as just the overall like clarity throughout the range. It is an extremely well-tuned IEM in my experience. Most of the cheaper IEMs I've tried have a big problem with bass bloat. I think was when I did my big IEM test, that was the thing that I noticed the most. These do not have this problem. These are very well tuned, pretty flat response all in all. Maybe just a little bit of emphasis on the upper mid-range area or lower treble. But I think it all sounds great. Timbre throughout the mid-range I feel like is really strong. I wouldn't say that they're like super well extended in either direction, right? Like, I mean, and you have to have limits to your expectation when it comes to a cheap IEM. So are they the most technical, amazing, you know, thing in the world? No, but they are extremely well tuned and I think do imaging and separation better than the great majority of IEMs I've heard, and that includes ones, you know, up to like $200 and $300, I think. Other notes about the sound. I mean, I think really like the probably the biggest downfall to them is the treble presentation, which while not unenjoyable, I did feel like that's the part where it was maybe most obvious that these were lacking in technical ability and resolution. And I found that the timbre of, you know, things like cymbal hits and stuff could come off to me just like a little bit plasticky. It is not bad at all though. I still really enjoy listening to these just when you've heard some really high-end stuff and you kind of know what like a super resolving, accurate headphone sounds like in those upper frequencies. When you come to this, it's obvious that it's not competing on that level, which you wouldn't expect, you know, for around $25. So outside of that, I really think it's a pretty phenomenal headphone for $25. I couldn't even tell you anything else that I think competes with it, right? You'd probably be looking IEMs. I haven't had anything, and if you were talking about headphones, I mean, you'd have to be looking at something from Koss that would be even close to the, you know, price performance ratio of these things. But I would take these hands down over any of the Koss headphones, honestly, if I was gonna pick. I mean, I really, you know, I wish there was more resolution across the board. There's texture and good information throughout the spectrum. It's just not what I'm used to now that I'm dealing with mostly headphones like in the, you know, upwards of $500 plus range. But for $25, it's totally fine. I think if you are looking for an entry level high-end or just entry into what decent headphone audio sounds like, this to me is a no-brainer, right? This is going to be my reference IEM at this point. I mean, I do have the Moondrop Chews coming, which are going to be very similar to this, I think, as far as just like form factor and price point. So it'll be interesting to get those and try these out. But those, I think I gotta wait like a couple of weeks for those because they're coming from overseas. So once those come in, I will do a comparison with these. But yeah, right now, these are the cheap IEMs to beat, in my opinion. I did listen to them on a variety of devices, just so you know. So I tried them on the FIO UT WS5. That review's coming soon. I tried them on the Mojo, and then my favorite, though, was the X-Can that I used them with. That was the thing I used the majority of the time, and that's what I think is a nice balance of just convenience and sound. Is that product. I just love the X-Can. It just is a great little device to have on hand for all sorts of stuff. I think that's gonna do it. I was thank you to Linsoul for sending these out and persuading me to try them, because I was not interested, and now here we are, and I'm kind of gushing about them. So thank you. And don't forget, check those links out below if you're interested in these guys. As always, have you heard these? Do you want to add your opinions to the mix? That would be terrific. And questions, comments, any of that other stuff down below. Please consider subscribing if you're interested in this kind of content. I will have lots more IEM, headphone, amps, DACs, all that stuff. Lots of reviews and things to talk about going forward. So thanks for sticking with me, and I hope to see you in future videos.